Hello everyone, welcome to back my channel. I hope everyone is having wonderful day. Before starting the video, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Jon Foster speaks out as American Idol fans speculate he knew who'd win season 23. The night had ended in glitter, confetti, and thunderous applause. Season 23 of American Idol had crowned its new champion, Jamal Roberts, and the world was buzzing. Cameras captured the tears, the hugs, and the raw magic of the moment. But in the shadows of the celebration, another name was trending: Jon Foster. For weeks, fans had noticed something unusual about Jon, one of the season's most memorable contestants. From the way he spoke in interviews to the confidence he carried on stage, some viewers were convinced he knew more than he let on, almost as if he had predicted the outcome. Now, with season 23 wrapped, Jon Foster finally decided to speak out. The whisperer sat in his Nashville apartment, a half-drunk cup of coffee on the table beside him. His phone buzzed relentlessly, Twitter threads, Instagram tags, edits, all dissecting every move he'd made during the season. Jon Foster knew Jamal was going to win. Look at his smile after the top 5 reveal. I swear he hinted at it during that one interview. He chuckled to himself, scrolling through the theories. Some thought he had inside information. Others claimed he had a psychic gift. A few even suggested he and Jamal had struck some secret deal. But the truth was far simpler and far more complicated. A bond beyond competition. When Jon had first met Jamal Roberts during Hollywood Week, it wasn't rivalry he felt, it was recognition. Jamal, with his deep, soulful voice and unshakable humility, carried an energy that Jon immediately respected. "He's different," Jon had whispered to one of the other contestants after hearing Jamal sing Sam Cooke's "A Change Is Gonna Come." And different he was. While others strategized, fretted over song choices, and fought to stand out, Jamal radiated a calmness that seemed untouchable. He wasn't there to outshine anyone, he was there to tell the truth through music. That truth shook Jon to his core. He had spent years chasing the spotlight, desperate for validation. But watching Jamal was like watching someone who already knew who he was. So when the season unfolded, Jon found himself not just competing against Jamal, but also rooting for him. The night of the Final Four, the speculation really began the night the top 4 was announced. After the results were read, cameras panned across the contestants' faces. Some gasped, some wept, but Jon's expression was steady, a knowing smile, almost proud. Fans clipped the moment instantly. Why is Jon smiling like he already knows Jamal's about to win this whole thing? What they didn't see was the memory replaying in Jon's mind. A late-night conversation with Jamal, weeks earlier, sitting backstage with guitars in hand. "You know you're gonna win this, right?" Jon had said, strumming lightly. Jamal laughed, shaking his head. "Nah man, I'm just trying to make it through the next round." But Jon wasn't joking. He had seen it in Jamal's performances, in the way audiences leaned forward when he sang, in the tears that even the toughest judges couldn't hide. "You've got something people can't vote against," Jon said. "It's not just your voice, it's your story, your heart. People need that." And from that night forward, Jon carried the certainty with him. Not bitterness, not jealousy, but faith. Speaking out weeks after the finale, Jon finally decided to address the rumors. Sitting down for a podcast interview, he leaned forward with an easy smile. "Did I know Jamal was gonna win?" "Yeah," he admitted. "Not because someone told me. Not because the show was rigged. I just knew. When you're in the room with greatness, you feel it. And Jamal had that from day one." The host raised an eyebrow. "So, no insider scoop?" "None," Jon laughed. "I was just honest with myself. Sometimes you meet someone, and their light is so bright, you realize you're just lucky to share the stage with them." The clip went viral overnight. Fans praised Jon's humility, his sportsmanship, his willingness to celebrate another's success. In a world that often painted reality shows as cutthroat, His words felt like a breath of fresh air. Beyond the show, but John's story didn't end with elimination. In fact, it was only beginning. Labels reached out after the final. His heartfelt original songs, performed during the competition, had already gained traction online. One track, Broken Roads, hit 1 million streams within weeks. Fans weren't just interested in whether he had predicted Jamal's victory. They wanted his music, his journey, his truth. At one of his first post-Idol gigs in Nashville, John stood on stage, guitar in hand, staring out at a packed crowd. "I want to play you a song I wrote the night before Jamal's finale," he told the audience. "It's about recognizing greatness in someone else and realizing that doesn't dim your own light." The crowd fell silent as he strummed the first chords. A lesson in grace months later, as Jamal Roberts toured the country as the reigning American Idol, John often found himself sharing the stage with him. Not as a competitor, not as a runner-up, but as a friend. In interviews, Jamal never failed to mention John. "John Foster believed in me before I believed in myself," Jamal would say. "He kept telling me I was gonna win, and he was right. But what he doesn't realize is, his belief gave me the courage to keep going." And John, hearing those words, realized something profound. Sometimes, the greatest victory isn't a trophy or a title. Sometimes, it's being the person who sees the light in someone else and helps it shine. The story fans didn't see the world may always speculate, twisting smiles into secrets and moments into conspiracies. But John Foster's story was not about spoilers or insider knowledge. It was about friendship, about recognizing when the universe had chosen someone for a moment, and having the grace to celebrate it instead of fighting it. About knowing that his own path, though different, was just as important. One day, perhaps, fans would stop asking if John knew who would win season 23, and instead, they would remember him as the man who taught them something bigger, that in music, in life, in love, sometimes the bravest thing you can do is applaud someone else's song. Epilogue years later, when John released his third album, a journalist asked him about his time on American Idol. "Do you regret not winning?" they asked. John smiled, the same knowing smile that once lit up the screen during the top 4 announcement. "No," he said, "because I already won. The world just measured it differently." And somewhere in that answer lay the truth, one that fans, after all the speculation, finally understood.